Welcome everybody. I'm really honored to welcome you to the first session in the series within the project that Basis for Actuele Kunst here in Utrecht organizes under the title The Return of Religion and Other Myth. Back in 2008 we opened an exhibition that's the first part of the entire project. Exhibition curated by Sven Lutherken, titled Art of Iconoclasm. The exhibition is on view at the back, just a couple of meters away from here, at the studio of the Central Museum. You are welcome to visit it. The project Return of Religion consists of three parts, as it's becoming rather typical of a long-term, large-scale research project. Some of you might remember projects such as Now What's Dreaming, A Better World in 6 parts that look at the issue of imaginary in contemporary art. Projects such as Cordially Invited that looked at the notion of hospitality vis-a-vis troubled reality of migration or immigration in the West. Part of the large-scale project researching possibilities that we in the field of art and intellectual production actually have under a larger manifesto-like title, Who If Not We Should At Least Try to Imagine the Future of All This, that was back in 2004. In 2005 we looked at the current notion of war in the project concerning war. And of course in 2007 we developed the project Citizens and Subjects, and that was a Dutch contribution to the Venice Biennial that consisted as well of 3 parts, exhibition back in Venice, a series of lectures here in Utrecht, and a critical reader. Why I'm mentioning this project is because the way we develop projects at BAC, you can see a sort of consistent line almost. One project feeds into another, and especially the project Citizens and Subjects that we worked on in 2006 and 2007 was extraordinarily important for developing the project called The Return of Religion and Other Myth. The source of inspiration for that project was twofold. One is a long-term collaboration with the Center for the Humanities, that is headed by Professor Rosi Braidotti here at Utrecht University, who very actively co-shaped the project Citizens and Subjects. And Rosi Braidotti herself, I believe 2 years ago, brought up an idea to deal with the issue of post-secularism. And we together developed a series of lectures that are still ongoing within the university. And also this series that we're opening today is developed in collaboration with the Center for the Humanities. Second source of inspiration was an essay that Sven Lutherken contributed to the critical reader that was part of the project Citizens and Subjects. The text dealt with the issues of image wars, and in an introduction to that text, Sven challenged art institutions such as museums and contemporary art centers, such as BAC. How come that there's enormous silence about these issues of image wars? Again, this was back in the beginning of 2007. Perhaps today this claim is no longer true. Not only BAC is dealing with the issue of the return of religion, but you probably seen that there are a number of exhibitions dealing with the issue of religion today and contemporary image wars. I'd like to say that the way these projects of BAC are organized and how the way we select the subject that we look at, we usually try to look at the point of intersection of what's at play in contemporary artistic practice, its discourses, various related theories, and what's at play in what are the urgencies in public space. this notion of return of religion is one of the most defining concerns or urgencies of here and now. Of course, our question or our aim is not necessarily to provide answers to all the questions that are being posed in public sphere about the issue of the return of religion, but mainly to focus on the field of art and pose this question: why art? What has art to do with the notion of the return of religion? And is there something that art, artistic practice, and discourse around artistic practice can contribute to the public debate? It is, of course, it goes without saying that art and religion have been linked together through history. But perhaps contemporary relationship between art and religion deserves much more attention than we would be willing to give it today. Perhaps I would borrow a quote from Bruno Latour to suggest what one of the answers to this question, why in art, could possibly be. He says, "Nowhere else but in contemporary art has a better laboratory been set up for trying out and testing the resistance of every item, comprising the cult of image, of picture, of beauty, of media, of genius. Nowhere else have so many paradoxical effects been carried out on the public to complicate their reactions to images. Nowhere else have so many setups been invented to slow down, modify, perturb, lose the naive gaze and the scopic regime of the amateur art. Everything has been slowly experimented against and smashed to pieces, from mimetic representation through image making, canvas, color, artwork, all the way to the artist herself, her signature, the role of museums, of the patrons, of critics, not to forget the Philistines ridiculed to death." I would hope that with this first lecture or session in this series we could start setting up laboratory here and now to discuss this issue and look what our role, what our contribution to the public debate can be. As for the organization of this afternoon, I would first invite Sven Lutherken to give an introduction to the project and specifically to his exhibition Art of Iconoclasm. And then we have esteemed guests who are going to share their ideas about the issue with us. Kenan Malik, who lives and works in London, who's a writer, lecturer, a researcher, and broadcaster. His main areas of interest are the history of ideas and science, philosophy of politics, religion, and multiculturalism. In 2009, his book will be published that's titled From Fatwa to Jihad, the Salman Rushdie Affair and Its Legacy. He's the author of another book that was published in 2008, A Strange Fruit, Why Both Sides Are Wrong in the Race Debate. And he's an author of documentary titled This United Kingdom, Are Muslims Hated, from 2003. In 2007, Kenan Malik gave a lecture titled The Return of Religion and Other Myths, from which, with his generous permission, we borrowed for this project because we found it critically important and addressing issues at hand that we find extraordinarily urgent. After Kenan Malik, Marca Valenta will take the floor. Marca is an author and historian that lives and works in Amsterdam. Her work examines the logic and forms of democratic pluralism, globalization, and church-state relations. She's recently analyzed Dutch and American responses to Islam. She edited or co-edited books such as Tales of the Great American Victory, World War II in Politics and Poetics in 2006. And together with James Kennedy, she co-authored the book Religious Pluralism and the Dutch State, Reflection on the Future of Article 23. That book is from 2006. And after these contributions, we'll have opportunity to discuss with our esteemed guests. I'd like to invite Sven to join me here and offer the floor to you. Thank you.